Hello class, today we are writing and solving inequalities. So how do I write inequalities is the essential question. Your learning intention, I'm learning to write and solve inequalities. You've got two warm-up questions that are off of what we did yesterday. Pause the video and see if you can solve them. So remember, we solve like we do an equality. So we draw the line. I've subtracted 3. The opposite is to add 3. I've eliminated it from one side. I now have 2x is greater than 11 plus 3 is 14. What do I do next? Divide by 2. And x is greater than 7. Doesn't matter where I put it on the number line. I just identify 7. Is this an open circle or closed circle? Open because it is not equal to. And x, the alligator mouth, goes to the x, which means that x is going to be greater than 7. 7 is the smallest number you should see. The shading is to the right. And this is 7. Okay, if you didn't try the first one on your own, see if you can do the second one on your own. Pause the video now. This one's a little bit harder because we've got 3 sections and we have to treat all 3 the same. So I marked my 3 sections. I look in the middle. I've got minus 3, just like I did up here. I now will be adding 3 to every part of it. Okay, 3 plus 3 is 6. Bringing the symbol down is less than negative 2x, is less than or equal to. 11 plus 3 is 14. Okay, now I'm ready to divide, but I notice it is a negative number. What happens when I divide by a negative number? What happens to my symbols? They become the opposite. So 6 divided by negative 2 is negative 3. Less than becomes greater than. X is in the middle. Less than or equal to becomes greater than or equal to. 14 divided by negative 2 is negative 7. So I notice my smallest number is negative 7. Okay, there's an equal sign, so this is a closed circle. My largest number is negative 3. No equal sign, so this is an open circle. And my shading goes in the middle. The X is in the middle, the shading is in the middle. Okay, now we're going to identify solutions to inequalities. Given the following inequalities, identify all the solutions from the set of possible solutions. So I'm looking at the first one. X is less than negative 7. So that alligator mouth goes to negative 7. That means negative 7 is the biggest number I can use. Is 0 less than negative 7? No. How about 1? No. Negative 8? Yes. Is negative 7 less than negative 7? No. Now, if it would have been less than or equal to, it would have been part of it. What about negative 101? Yes. Okay, for the next one, x is greater than or equal to 15. That means we're looking for numbers. The alligator mouth goes to the x, the small n goes to the 15. The smallest number is 15. Is negative 15 smaller than or equal to 15? No. 0? No. What about 15? Is it equal to 15? Yes. What about 17? Yes. What about 101? Yes. Okay, so those two were just basically identifying. Now we have to solve. So we draw that line. I've taken 3x, I've minus 7. The opposite is to add 7 to both sides. So this has gone here. 3x is greater than 29 plus 7 is 36. Now what? Divide both sides by 3. And x has got to be greater than 12. Is negative 4 greater than 12? No. 0. No. Is 12 greater than 12? No. It's not, it's equal to, it is not greater than. So 18 is, and 201 is. If you're still unsure, back the video up and watch the first part again. Okay, the last one is one of those compound inequalities again. We still solve the same way we always do. So let's get started. This time we've got 3 different sections. Just like my 3 boys, you have to treat all 3 sections equally. I look in the middle, I have subtracted 6. The opposite is to add 6. And I do it to all 3 pieces. 4 plus 6 is 10. 10 is less than or equal to 2x. Is less than 18 plus 6 is 24. Now what do I do? Well, we divide everything by 2. 5 is less than or equal to x, which is less than 12. Okay, so we want any number, it can be equal to 5, but it's got to be equal to or greater than 5 and still less than 12. Is 0 greater than or equal to 5? No. What about negative 3? Yeah. It's not in that solution set because it is not greater than 5. What about 6? Is 6 greater than 5 and less than 12? Yes. What about 5 itself? Well, there's that equal sign by 5, so it is a solution. What about 12? There's no equal sign. 12 is not a solution. So that's how you figure out what's part of your solution set. Now we're going to look at the graph, and we're going to graph what is shown below. So as we look at the first one, okay, it's shaded less than, but is it also equal to? Is that a filled in or open circle? It's an open circle, so x is less than negative 2. For the next one, where do we start at? This time we're getting bigger. Bigger means greater. So x is greater than. Is it also equal to? It is equal to because it's a filled in circle, so we put the line underneath. What's the smallest number? Negative 5. For the next one, it is going in the negative direction. That means less than. Is it also equal to? Yeah, it's equal to 1 because it's filled in. Less than or equal to 1. Okay, when the shading is on the outside, remember this is our or statement. So we're going to look at the first part or the second part. So if I'm looking, this is less than. Is it also equal to? No, it's an open circle. What number would this be? 4, -4 something, -8. What is in the middle? -6 is halfway between -4 and -8. Okay, this time it is going in the positive direction. That means it is greater than. Is it also equal to? Is that a filled in or open circle? Well, it's open, so it's not equal to, and the number is 8. So if you've got the shading on the outside, it becomes an or statement. What if the shading is on the inside? This is an and statement. Now there's two ways to write it. I prefer starting here and working this way and not having to write and in the middle. What is my smallest number? -6. It's less than. Is it also equal to? Yes, it's a filled in circle, so it's less than or equal to x. And what is my biggest number? 0. Is it also equal to 0? No. So, -6 is less than or equal to x, which is less than 0. If I want to write it the other way, I will put -6 is less than or equal to x, and x is less than 0. Both are correct. This is the way I prefer to write it, but you can do it either way. How do you know you're successful? When you can write, solve, and graph inequalities. So we're still working on those inequalities.